Everyone's got that special place they hold dear to their heart, where you can just let it all go. Rich or poor, young or old, we all gots to go potty, right? But it turns out some people do their ones and twos in the weirdest places imaginable. Put the seat up, young skibbity. I've got you a one-way ticket to Tinkletown as we look at some of the strangest and most cursed bathrooms in the world you wouldn't dare use. Master of Poopits. Listen, we've all gone to see our favorite band and been horrified by the state of the bathrooms. I mean, honestly, I don't know what kind of nonsense people get up to in the cubicles at concerts, but they just can't pee straight. However, I recently went to the Brass Mug, a music venue in Tampa, Florida, and I saw something even more disturbing in the bathroom. Their fully functioning toilet has been made out to have an unflattering likeness to Lars Ulrich from Metallica. Right. The piece was made for them by musician and artist Prince Midnight, who tends to lean towards the scatological. Here's another installation of his, this time supposedly of electronic producer Aphex Twin. I'd say Aphex Twin if he was in a PlayStation 1 game, but that's just me. I don't know what kind of relationship you'd need to have with a musician to want to use a toilet of their likeness, though. I'm getting some pretty sinister stalker vibes. Imagine walking in on someone praying to their custom toilet as if engaged in some kind of dark ritual. Yeah, I'd give it 10 minutes in there if I were you. Now, you might not be too keen on transforming your ceramic sanctuary into a fully grown human being, and who could blame you? It's creepy and weird, but that's not to say you can't enjoy some death metal defecation. You can buy this punk-looking toilet seat on Amazon so everyone knows you're a badass. Although, taking a look at those razor blades and barbed wire, they might just think you have a literal badass. As for the price, I don't know. It's currently out of stock, so it must be popular with someone. Who exactly? Your guess is as good as mine. Futuristic flushers. Let's face it, when it comes to toilets, one country is leagues ahead of everybody else. I'm talking, of course, about Japan. I mean, come on, their restrooms literally sing to you as you do the dirty. But for all their innovations, some Japanese toilets are weird or just downright frightening. In a restaurant on the outskirts of Tokyo, the men's restroom has an alarming surprise for diners. Take a look. Yikes. Yep, that's a big old mouth. Call me prudish, but I don't think I want my toilet staring at me while I'm trying to go. Urinals make me nervous at the best of times, but this? Oh, and ladies, I hear you laughing away at us men getting shy. Don't worry, you wait until you see what hideous fiend is hiding away in your lavatory. Ready? Yeah, not so funny now, is it? Honestly, I have no idea what this repulsive monster is meant to be, but it's gross. And, highly impractical, too. I sure hope there's another cubicle free, or whoever uses this is gonna have to get pretty acrobatic. Trypophobia. The world around us is a scary place. A lot of people are scared of a lot of different things. You know, trypophobia? It's when you have an aversion to things with repeated patterns or clusters of tiny holes, like honeycombs. Me, I have trypophobia. It's an aversion to toilets with tiny holes, like this. Holy crap, that's revolting. It's like if Crocs made toilets. Serious hats on for a second. Logistically speaking, how would this even work? Whenever you flushed, it would flood right through the holes and you'd have toilet water all over the floor. Ugh. Grody. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this isn't a real toilet. It's either an altered image or just a concept thing someone made to ruin my day. The same, however, can't be said for this. Okay, so these aren't holes, they're googly eyes, but that doesn't exactly make me feel any better. I know my best angle, and it's not precariously lowering myself butt first onto Splashdown Stadium. We're gonna lock this one away in the mental cupboard of internet nonsense I feel no better for seeing, and pretend like it never happened. There's one hole that upsets me more than any other, though, and that's the hole you'll leave in my heart if you don't click those like and subscribe buttons. I've got loads of more interesting videos in the works just for you. Alright, let's get back to the video. Just the poo of us. Okay, so I know I said one of the best things about toilet time is getting some peace and quiet. But what if I get lonely sometimes? Wouldn't it be great to be able to share your most cherished moment with a friend or a loved one? Dear viewers, I present to you the tandem toilet. Isn't it a thing of beauty? Now you and the homie can play chess or shoot TikToks together while you're doing your dirty. What's that? You've got more than one homie? Well, don't you worry, Lucky. I've got a triple crown for 3 kings or queens right here. And there are even 2 special hand wash basins right next to you. On second thoughts, maybe don't go putting your hands in there. You know what? The heck with it. Why not get the whole gang involved? We've got room for everyone. You might just have to fight between yourselves to decide who gets the deluxe suite in the back, though. Honestly, I don't know where these toilets are or if they're even in use, but I do know one thing. I'd rather soil my tidy whities. Thirsty work. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and my mouth is like a desert. It's like this sawdust demon has sucked all the moisture from my body. Does anybody else get that? Well, at a campsite in Botswana, a rather thirsty passerby stopped off in the middle of the night for some unconventional refreshment. Take a look at this. Ew, straight from the bowl? I've never been that dehydrated. But this is a quite common occurrence at the Elephant Sands Lodge. If you hadn't guessed, as well as housing human guests, the lodge also attracts some rather larger visitors. The elephants are provided with their own water, but often it's salty and doesn't quite hit the spot on a hot summer's day like a fresh toilet bowl does. In fact, some lodge guests have reported using the facilities when a huge trunk has suddenly reached over and tapped them on the shoulder. Jeepers! Imagine the fright. I'd be glad I was already in the bathroom. Covert crapper. We've all got that awkward space in our home we just don't know what to do with. Like a little alcove or a bit of wall that nothing seems to fit on. Well, this next homeowner snatched something rather surprising in a cupboard in their house. Yep, it's perhaps the weirdest location for a toilet I've ever seen. Huh? I have a really hard time wrapping my head around that. I mean, if a fully grown adult tried to use it, would they have their head sticking out like this or tucked in like this and leave just their knees sticking out? Somebody please help a guy out. Luckily, I've got a handy chart of pooping positions right here. Looking at this, how do you reckon the cupboard crapper is meant to be used? If you said 9 or 0, get out. The only reason I can even think of for its existence is that it isn't actually meant for a fully grown human. Perhaps a poop-hungry toilet gremlin then? Or more likely it was installed while somebody was potty training their child as a more easily accessible alternative to the main toilet. But even that feels a little far-fetched. Do you have any better ideas? Let me know down in the comments. Deuce Banner. Normally, I'm a pretty chill guy. It takes a lot to get under my skin. And just as well, you wouldn't want to make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Something else you won't like is what's inside this bathroom stall. Go on, marvel at this. Oh dear, he looks like he needs some fiber. It's less Hulk smash and more Hulk splash. In fact, Hulk splashed so badly that he seems to have spilled green residue all over the floor. Yuck. But if Deuce Banner here isn't your thing, maybe one of these is. Iron Can, Thor God of Thronder, and my personal favorite, Spooderman. As for where these Avengers assemble, I don't know. Something tells me that this could be the work of AI again. At least that's what I hope. I find more comfort in believing that than this genuinely being a passion project someone put a load of time and money into. Long way to the plop. As you bring your knife and fork together in the middle of your empty plate, you slump slowly into the booth. It's Tuesday, Cracker Barrel Day, and you've gorged on enough fried chicken to feed a family of 4. As you lay semi-lifelessly, your stomach begins to growl a deep, guttural moan. Your hands scramble as you try and grip the table to haul yourself towards the bathroom. Reaching out for the handle, you twist and hear the dreaded click of the lock. Darn, gauged. Looks like you came second in the barrel run. Beads of sweat appear across your forehead as your stomach twists again and time begins to slip away. You shift your weight across your feet left to right, then back to left in an endless dance as seconds feel like hours and minutes feel feel like months. Suddenly, the door unlocks and swings open. The man emerging barely has time to step aside before you barge past him and slam the door behind you. A relieved chill blows through the hairs on your body, but it doesn't last long. As you turn around to face the seat your body screams for, you see this. How can you be so close and yet so far? Before you can curse, your stomach cramps again. You start bounding towards your porcelain prize. With each step, the corridor grows longer and longer. The lights flicker and you swear you see an ethereal figure flash in front of you. No time to think, just keep running. You close your eyes as the twisting in your stomach becomes unbearable and your legs pump beneath you again and again and again. What? Sorry. I must have dozed off there. I had a terrible dream. But that nightmarish toilet is very real. At least if you believe this guy. He claims the pooper from hell is in a house he's renting in Nairobi, Kenya, and that it's not actually as bad as it seems. Ha! I doubt it. Just looking at this thing is giving me a severe bout of claustrophobia. Wait a minute. My seat feels warm. Why does my seat feel warm? Pittsburgh pit stop. Asking where the bathroom is gives me the heebie-jeebies. The answer is always so convoluted. It's like, near the front door, take a left, then a right up the stairs, take the ski lift. Like, what? I should have asked 20 minutes in advance. Well, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, some toilets are found in the strangest locations, like halfway up a staircase. Sheesh. Can a boy get a little privacy these days? Funnily enough, these toilets were exceptionally practical for 20th century industrial workers. Say you were a steel worker or coal miner and you came home absolutely filthy from a long day's labor. Are you going to want to march through your nice clean home in your dirty clothes? Heck no. Instead, laborers could enter the basement through an external door where there'd be a bathroom for them to clean up in rather than traipsing dirt across their floors. Neat. Perhaps in the staircase toilet's case then, the basement itself didn't have the room or adequate plumbing facilities, so they were forced to install it in an even less conventional place. Honestly, I can't say for certain. Another possible explanation is that in areas that experience flooding, the toilet is often the fixture that overflows. So instead of having it on the ground floor of your house where it will inevitably ruin your nice interiors, whoever installed the toilet decided to contain the leak to the basement, or in this case, the stairs to the basement. Again, I'm not sure, but it makes a lot more sense than someone plonking a toilet on their apartment stairwell for the giggles. Nobody wants to shimmy past Miss Jenkins bare-cheeking it first thing in the morning. I'm regretting having English muffins for breakfast this morning. Get to the ploppa! Sometimes when I'm rushing out the door for work, my morning coffee hits, and let's just say I've got to dash back inside before I oopsie on the interstate. But then I always get stuck in traffic. If only there was a way I could get to work, skip traffic, and enjoy my morning coffee. Fret not, kind viewers, because I found this. Pretty amazing, right? It's like a futuristic porta potty crossed with a drone. Imagine all the places you could fly over in this. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Great Stall of China, and who could forget Machu Picchu? What? Can't blame a guy for having a little fun, okay? The bad news is this thing doesn't actually exist. It's just an AI image that went viral online. Even so, come on, I just had to show it to you. Who knows? One day we could all be zooming around in these. Ain't that a thought? Gold nuggets. We all like to feel a little pampered sometimes, whether it's a nice face mask, a relaxing hot bath with some scented candles, or maybe a little time on your solid gold toilet. Wait, what? Just look at that thing. Now I get why they call it a throne. It's absolutely majestic. As for who droppeth their golden nuggets at this gaudy water closet, well, a lot of people have wrongly attributed the image to former Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych. However, after a bit of detective work, I've uncovered that it was doing the rounds on the internet for years before. Yanukovych did have a gold toilet, something he was relentlessly mocked for in an exhibition held in 2013 by his opposition party. It just wasn't this one. The porcelain prince behind this pompous potty remains a mystery. Still, that's a level of lavishness we can all aspire to, right? Though actually, I can go one better. Oh, pow! Ain't that a beauty? Someone with more money than sense has created this diamond-encrusted derriere domicile, and I'm shocked. I can't imagine it being that comfortable, can you? Yikes. Let me know if you own one of these down in the comments. Big Pecker. As a man, there's nothing worse than going into a public bathroom to use the urinal and noticing that whoever's next to you has an absolutely massive pecker. It's intimidating. I mean, if you had this thing next to you as you were trying to mind your business, how would you feel? Huh? Wait, what did you think I meant by big pecker? Ew, you're gross. Obviously, I was talking about these storks hiding out in the bathroom at Miami Metro Zoo. See, in 1992, Florida was ravaged by Hurricane Andrew, the most destructive hurricane to ever hit the state in terms of structures damaged. So to protect their beloved animals, the zoo converted some of the more structurally sound indoor spaces into makeshift animal pens, which is a much more wholesome backstory than I was expecting for such a cursed-looking image. Now, I love being safe and sound listening to a raging storm outside, but being trapped in a public toilet during a hurricane just hits differently. Spun out. What can I say, ya boy loves a party. But I always get a little frisky with the bevs and have to lock myself in the bathroom until the spinnies stop. But if I got myself stuck in this bathroom, well, I think I'd barf everywhere. Whoa. Anyone else feeling a little dizzy? Now I know what you're thinking. Which bozo tried painting a checkers board design freehand? Well, that would be super talented American artist Ramon Orlando Trujillo. That's right, these big undulations are intentional. His work tends to play about with straight lines to create something super disorientating. I'd say mission accomplished. Despite Ramon's supportive affirmation plastered across the mirror that you look fine, I definitely don't feel fine. If you left me alone in here for longer than 90 seconds, I'd probably be repainting it myself. If you get what I mean. Boy, I'm starting to regret having spicy tuna rolls for lunch now. Let's get out of here. Venus Guy Trap. Okay, fellas, which one of you can't aim properly? I am tired of going to the men's room and walking out leaving footprints. So I've had a scout around to find some aiming aids for when you're doing your business. Ready? Number one, I like to call the Venus Guy Trap. Because if I put my little amazed anywhere near that, well, that's getting trapped. It's also where I imagine Mario goes to the toilet. Not that I imagine it often. Moving swiftly onward, let's try option 2. I like to call this one the George W.C. Bush. This ludicrous lavatory was part of an exhibition by artist Clark Sorensen, who is also the brains behind the Todger Trapper. Sorensen's potty preoccupation produced this porcelain political protest in 2009 about the former POTUS. Look, I'm not saying anything about George W.C.'s policies or Sorensen's comments on them, but it's one of the most cursed things I've ever seen. As for whether it would improve people's aim, well, there'd probably be about a 50-50 split. Chilly cheeks. There's nothing quite like being out in nature. Rain or shine, hot or cold, I just love the great outdoors. But one morning on a fresh wintry hike, I stumbled across one of the strangest setups I've ever seen. Wrap your thinker around this. Now, I'm not convinced this qualifies as a functioning bathroom. It seems to be lacking any sufficient plumbing. But what do I know? I just hope nobody actually sat down on it that morning. They'd have a hard time prying their posterior off of it. If I had to guess, I'd say the homeowners built this as a kind of novelty swing, and I think the conversation might have gone a little like this. Honey, I'm home. Did you manage to pop out and get the toiletries? Toiletries? Yeah, toiletries, you know, toothpaste, soap. Oh, I thought you said, you know what, never mind. Just don't look in the yard for about 30 minutes or so. Texas toilet. Do you ever get the feeling you're being watched? Like someone is following you everywhere you go? If so, you probably wouldn't fancy using this public restroom in Sulphur Springs, Texas. From the inside, you can watch the whole world go by, and personally, I'd say people watching is way more exciting than scrolling your phone. But wait a minute. I don't want everyone to see me with my pants around my ankles. I mean, this see-through latrine is literally in the town's central plaza. Well, the great news is, they can't. The curious cubicle is made entirely from one-way glass, so you can see out, but no one else can see in. Neato. The transparent toilets cost a whopping $54,000, but they've become quite the roadside attraction. What do you think? Could you do your thing knowing no one could see you in there? Me? I'd be too scared that the walls would collapse and a camera crew would come rushing around the corner. It looks like a bad prank just waiting to happen. And on that disturbing note, we've reached the end of the video. Which of those deadpan bedpans was your favorite? I know what my least favorite was. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Until next time, thanks for watching.